breaking from El Segundo with urgency, exclusivity, and that fear of missing out thumping your chest. The Austin Reaves conversation just flipped again. And if you don't catch every detail, you'll miss where this franchise is truly leaning. While the rumor mill tried to turn an AR into a trade chip, he quietly sent a different kind of message, one part loyalty, one part competitive edge, then woke up to a basketball legend telling the Lakers to consider dealing him. That collision player identity versus front office calculus isn't abstract, it's the pulse of this team right now. Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, the channel that treats this jersey like a living thing. Lock in with a sub, toss a like, turn on alerts, because we're going to thread the needle between heart and business and show. Why this matters for the season, that's about to define who stays and who gets packaged. Here's the spark. Austin's IG story shouting out Cam Reddish's move to Lithuania. My dog. Read like a simple nod to a friend, but in our world, gestures talk. It said, I ride for my guys. It said relationships matter. And it said it exactly when the air got thick with a different headline. A 7-time champ questioning whether the Lakers should keep him at all. That's not noise. That's the modern NBA tension in a single day. AR's journey is the antidote to cynicism undrafted in 2021. Bet on himself, carved out minutes, earned a 4-year, team-friendly deal in 2023. Then jumped a tier with a season that announced him as a bona fide 20-6 creator who can play on or off the ball, bend coverages with pace changes, and bail out possessions with footwork and touch. Playoffs? He's tasted pressure, put up solid numbers across multiple runs, and looked comfortable enough in big moments that you stop asking, can he? And start asking, how far can this go if the context is right? But context is where legends make you uncomfortable. The case against keeping him forever isn't hate. It's roster geometry. Redundancy kills title paths. If your perimeter creators overlap too much same counters, same defensive asks, same usage slots, you can look good in January and stuck in May. The advice from the champ boiled down to a principle. Fit first, emotions later. If you can flip a non-max guy at peak value for someone who fills a hard-to-find gap, you at least pick up the phone. And yeah, it stings to hear that about a homegrown favorite. But part of being a Lakers adult is understanding that banners are honest while narratives are sentimental. So let's strip it to the basketball. What does AR actually give you, and where does it stack in the build? He's an advantage creator who thrives in middle third actions ghosts, slot pick and roll, Spain variations where he manipulates help with a live dribble and uses pace to beat the tag or hit the shake. He's become a reliable spacer in two-star lineups because his catch-and-shoot volume climbed with efficiency, and he punishes top lots with back cuts that keep the weak side from loading up. He screens small to force switches he can then attack. He lives at the nail to feed the dunker spot, and he keeps his turnover profile in a place where you trust him to touch the ball late. Defensively, he's not a stopper, but he's attentive tags, veers, and peels enough that with the right rim protection and a rangy wing next to him, he holds up. From a contract lens, the story is louder. ARS on one of the league's better value deals right now, a number that matches the production surplus and gives the front office flexibility to tinker elsewhere. But everyone in this room knows the cap is climbing and that players in this tier don't live at mid-tier forever. He's positioned to decline that player, option down the line, and hunt a number that looks like starter plus. Money on a contending bill call at 30-ish, annually in the new economy, because he's earned the conversation. That's not greed. It's market reality. The question is whether that reality lives in Los Angeles or somewhere else. If you keep him, you're saying continuity matters. That you want a guard who can be your primary some nights and your connective tissue others. And that you're willing to pay for a reliable playoff rotation presence who doesn't shiver in the noise. If you trade him, you're saying you need length at the point of attack, or a true big who warps coverages, or a two-way wing who tilts playoff math in a way overlapping guards can't. The deeper layer, and this is where fans and front office actually agree, is timeline. If this window is being built around squeezing one more elite run out of established gravity, then AR's blend of composure, shooting gravity, and late clock answers is oxygen. If the pivot is toward a rebalanced core that asks for higher switch resistance and more two-level rim pressure from the one, you can talk yourself into reallocating his value. None of that erases the reality that he just had the best season of his life, one where the numbers weren't empty calories but repeatable process. Watch the tape. It's the early kick to the corner before the low man arrives. The relocation step to redraw a driving lane. The patience to reject the screen because the on-ball defender's hips are cheating middle. The one-handed lob dribble pass he didn't have 2 years ago. The balance through contact on a gather that turns a 52-48 possession into 3 points. That's development you bank on. It's also why rival front offices salivate. And this is where his IG salute to Reddish actually matters more than people think. Locker room currency is a thing. Guys want to play with humans who ride for them. AR does. The league notices. That matters whether he's here or not, because a roster is not a spreadsheet. It's a chemistry experiment. The advice to trade him before you can't afford him ignores that continuity has value you only see when it's gone. Early offense run without a call. Second side triggers that don't need eye contact. Trust roots on broken plays where two players see the same picture. He and his running mates have built some of that language. Blow it up, and you better be right about what you're getting back. Let's also be adults about leverage. If a R already turned down a 4-year extension that didn't match his long-term value, that's not betrayal. It's understanding the arc of his prime. He's entering peak years, he's coming off career highs, and he knows the next deal is the one that decides his prime. Betting on himself now is the rational move. For the Lakers, the rational move is clarity. If you view him as core, you message it internally. You shape your acquisitions around complementing his strengths and insulating his weaknesses. And you plan for the cap hit that comes with a real guard who wins playoff minutes. If you view him as value to be liquidated into size or rim pressure or a pick that unlocks a bigger swing, you do it before the season tells everyone exactly how good he is again, and the math gets emotional. And because this is Los Angeles, we don't dodge names. We diagnose lineups. Picture the groups that sing with an R on the floor, a downhill guard beside him who forces the nail to commit, a vertical big who sprints into early seals and threatens the lob, a 3-and-D wing with length to take the tougher assignment, and one star who bends coverage so hard that AR is catching and attacking tilted floors. In those shells, you're not asking him to be the best athlete in every possession. You're asking him to be the best problem solver. He draws the switch onto a smaller defender and works the mid-post footwork. He snakes PNR to turn the big's hips. He hits the pocket pass on time so the big can finish before the tag arrives. That's winning offense without hero ball. Now flip it, what breaks? If you surround him with another guard whose game mirrors his too closely, a non-spacing big, and wings who can't punish help, the floor shrinks. Suddenly every ball screen is a crowd. Every drive ends in a crowd. And you're depending on contested twos to survive playoff defense. That's when the two of the same critique starts to bite, not because AR failed, but because the ecosystem asked him to out-athlete the problem instead of outthink it. The solution isn't subtraction. It's complementary addition. Give him a backcourt partner who collapses the paint with first-step violence or screens with linebacker mass to create angles. Pair that with a wing who shoots on catch and cuts on top lock. Put a big who sprints into drag screens in early offense. That's buildable, and if you build it, R's value compounds. And let's talk defense honestly. He competes. He communicates. He rotates on time more often than not. But the playoffs are mean. You get hunted. To guard the guard room, the front office owes him and the team one more long, switchable body who can erase mistakes, plus a scheme that toggles between show and recover and switch to scram. So he's never on an island 2 dribbles from doom. When you do that, what he gives you on offense more than pays for his defensive weight. If you don't, You put him in the crosshairs and then blame the wrong piece for the wrong problem. Meanwhile, the business side isn't a villain, just a mirror. The cap rises, the middle class squeezes, and the players who live between star money and role money become the league's most argued over assets. AR is squarely in that bracket, and that's a compliment. If you keep him, you're saying you believe in process, in repeatability, in an offense that can shapeshift without losing its mind. If you move him, you better be upgrading a skill this roster can't fake point of attack defense at a playoff level, legitimate rim protection that bends shot charts, or a wing who shoots 39% with volume and guards up a position. Anything else is lateral movements, so you can issue a press release about optionalities and pathways. Now, let's hit the human note one more time, because this fan base reads through the press conference smiles. AR's shout to Reddish mattered. It reminded everyone that this league is still a room before it's a spreadsheet. Those small acts cement the culture you claim to want. Guys who like each other, who pass to each other, who run when they're tired because trust is oxygen. When the math says trade him, you must also ask, what does this do to the room? It's not soft chemistry, it's a winning edge the cap can't price. And since we live in the house that pressure built, let's put an R under the same light we put our stars under. Clutch time. Can he make a quick hitting decision when the first action dies? Yes, short roll kick, drift to the slot, rescreen and go. Can he get you a bucket late if the play is busted? Yes, floater package, foul draw footwork, mid-range step through. Can he survive a switch onto a bigger wing? Sometimes solo, more often with a pre-planned scram and backside low man alert. Is he worth paying for in that environment? If you built the lineup correctly, absolutely. The tipping point is not, is he good? It's have you tune the lineup so his goodness turns into wins in May? Which brings us to the take that this channel won't hedge. I'd keep Austin Reaves and pay the man when the time comes, provided the front office commits to balancing the guard room with a genuine downhill threat and adding one more long wing who can credibly switch 2 to 4 and shoot league average from deep. AR's value compounds on a group that can defend at the arc and finish vertical lob threats. It diminishes on a roster that asks him to be something he isn't: your best athlete, your top chaser, your only north-south engine. If you can't make those complementary acquisitions, then yes, you consider the trade. But the bar is steep. The return needs to bring a playoff-proof skill you can't easily buy elsewhere. And it has to fit next to your top usage star without stealing touches that make your crunch time spacing constipated. Anything short of that is just movement to look busy. And if you're still here, if you're nodding, arguing, rewinding possessions in your head, that means you're exactly the kind of Laker fan this community was built for. Add your voice. Does the shout out to Reddish and the way R carries himself with teammates matter to you as much as the cap sheet? Do you see his season as a ceiling or a floor? If you are pulling the strings, do you double down on continuity and round the roster with size and speed? Or do you cash in the reliability chip for a dice roll on a wing or big that might raise the playoff ceiling by a full tier? What skill do you think this team most lacks in May point of attack stops? Second side shooting, rim pressure, or vertical spacing? And how does an AR help or block solving that? Drop your blueprint in the comments, bring your film notes, and if you're riding with us through every rumor and every reality check, make sure you're subscribed and share this with a friend who thinks business always beats basketball. Sometimes, with the right human, basketball is the business. My final word tonight, and put my name on it, AR has earned the benefit of belief. Pay for repeatable process, not streaky spikes. And right now, his process is the kind you can build an offense around without anchoring it to him alone. If the front office builds with purpose, he'll make that purpose look smarter. If they can't, no trade will fix the real problem. And yes, I'm opening the floor. If the perfect offer lands one that gives you the long wing who erases matchups, or the true rim-running, rim-protecting five that changes your defensive diet, then you listen like professionals. But until that unicorn is real, you keep the guard who turns possessions intelligent, who keeps your stars fresh, and who wins the unglamorous margins that make June feel possible again. That's not romance. That's how banners get a chance to breathe.